don't know what I'm doing. I don't understand the rules on this road. You seem to drive 1 minute on the left, 1 minute on the right.
Some roads connect cities. Others flirt with disaster. From Bolivia's Death Road to Nepal's Carnali Highway, where passengers are tossed like dice in a cruel gamble. These aren't just drives, they're trials of survival. Buckle up as we reveal the 20 deadliest roads where even locals fear to travel.
Aizai Winding Road. If twisting roads make your stomach flip, then Aizai Winding Road in China is your worst nightmare. This beast has 13 sharp turns, stacked one after the other, snaking through steep mountain cliffs like something out of a video game. Only this one's real and way more dangerous. Located in Hunan province, this road climbs from the valley floor up to the Aizai Suspension Bridge, one of the highest bridges in the world. But before you even get there, you've got to survive this gravity-defying path that feels like it was built to test human nerve. Each turn is tight, real tight, and the road itself? Super narrow, with barely enough room for 2 cars to squeeze past. Add rain, fog, or traffic to the mix, and things get dicey real quick. Drivers are constantly battling low visibility and risky overtakes, especially with tour buses and trucks using the same route. There are no major barriers between you and the drop. Miss a corner, you're going down. Locals know the road well, but even they admit it demands full attention. One moment of distraction could be your last. The views are absolutely stunning, no doubt. But you'll be gripping the wheel so hard you might not even notice. Bert D915. How far would you go when the road beneath you disappears into mist and every turn feels like the edge of the world? Bert D915. Turkey's infamous mountain route, carved into legend by fear and fatal precision. This is not a drive. It is a confrontation with gravity itself. Winding through the remote highlands of northeastern Turkey, D915 is a serpent of stone and peril. Nowhere is its menace more terrifying than at the Zoji La Pass, perched at over 7,900 feet, where 13 harrowing switchbacks twist one after another with no guardrails, no second chances. Each curve is a reckoning, each descent a dare. This road was forged in 1916 by Russian soldiers in the crucible of war. But while time has passed, the danger has only sharpened. D915 is mostly unpaved and pitiless. Mud, snow, fog, and rain transform it into a corridor of chaos. It is narrow, it is wild, and it is still open. Despite its deadly reputation, this path is used to this day by truckers, emergency responders, and those who have no alternative but courage. Many drivers begin with resolve. Most finish in silence, shaken by the void they've skimmed. So ask yourself, would you face this trial or turn back before the mountain decides for you? Guolang Road. When desperation meets defiance, legends are born from stone. Hidden deep within China's Taihang Mountains lies the Guolang Road, a route so treacherous, so hauntingly narrow, that it has earned its place among the most dangerous roads in the world. But this path wasn't built by engineers. It was carved by villagers with hand tools, sheer will, and a refusal to be forgotten. For centuries, the remote village of Guolang was cut off from the world by towering cliffs and impassable terrain, but in 1972, 13 determined men took on the mountain itself. Armed with hammers and chisels, they spent 5 years carving a tunnel into the face of solid rock. What they left behind was a 0.75-mile passage clinging to the cliff's edge, barely wide enough for one vehicle, with gaping drop-offs and jagged openings that reveal the sheer void beyond. One wrong move on its slick, narrow path, and the mountain takes its toll. There are no safety rails. Tourists now flock to see this marvel, but few understand the risks it carries. In fog, in rain, or under the shadow of rockfall, the Guolang Road becomes a deadly gauntlet. It stands as both a triumph of courage and a chilling reminder. Some roads are not taken, they are survived. Yungus Road. From the moment your tires touch the edge of Yungus Road, every instinct warns you. This is no ordinary journey. Known across the globe as Death Road, this harrowing stretch between La Paz and Coroico in Bolivia has rightfully earned its fearsome name. It is not folklore. It is a road that has swallowed vehicles whole and turned countless drives into final descents. Carved into the sheer cliffs of the Andes, Yungus Road clings to mountainsides that plunge nearly 2,000 feet into the jungle abyss below. A narrow dirt track, often no wider than a single car, winds through fog-drenched turns, rain-slicked passes, and landslide-prone ledges. Constructed in the 1930s by Paraguayan prisoners, this road became infamous for claiming 200 to 300 lives every year. Crashes, collapses, and disappearances became so common, the route itself seemed cursed. Even these days, twisted wreckage can be found rusting in the depths, silent witnesses to the road's merciless reputation. Though a modern bypass now diverts much of the traffic, Yungus Road remains a magnet for thrill seekers, especially mountain bikers eager to flirt with fate. For those who brave it, the danger is ever present. This is more than a drive. It is a high-altitude reckoning with gravity and fear. Guolang Road. There exists a road so perilous, so unforgiving, that even those who call the mountains home often choose to avoid it. This is the Guolang Road, etched precariously into the sheer cliffs of the Indian Himalayas, a route that defies logic and dares the human spirit. This is not a road in the traditional sense. It is a narrow ledge, a carved line clinging to vertical rock faces with no guardrails, no margin for error, and no second chances. It connects the isolated regions of Guolang in Himachal Pradesh to Kishtwar in Jammu and Kashmir. But its presence feels more like a challenge than a lifeline. The dangers are relentless. Unstable terrain, dizzying elevations, and sudden landslides. A single miscalculation can send a vehicle plunging into the void. Even the bravest drivers hesitate here, and during the monsoon season, the risk multiplies. Rains transform this treacherous path into a slick, collapsing gauntlet. The passage is so tight that if two vehicles meet, one must reverse along the cliff edge, often on loose gravel, mere inches from disaster. There is no routine here, only constant vigilance. And yet, this road endures. Built to connect remote villages, it remains a vital, if harrowing, route. To travel, it requires not just skill, but resolve. This is a road that does not forgive hesitation. It demands respect, courage, and unwavering focus. Would you face its challenge head-on, or turn away and choose safety over survival? Karnali Highway. Nothing prepares you for the relentless trial that is the Karnali Highway. A punishing 52-hour journey through the heart of Nepal, from Jumla to Surkhet. This is not a road trip. It is a test of endurance, willpower, and sheer determination. Known ironically as the Karnali Express, the name is a cruel understatement. There is nothing swift, easy, or forgiving about this path. What lies ahead is not merely a road, but an obstacle course carved through unforgiving terrain. The 144-mile stretch is a gauntlet of deep mud, landslides, shattered tracks, and vehicles battered by years of merciless travel. This highway doesn't offer a ride. It offers a relentless fight against gravity, erosion, and exhaustion. Passengers are tossed like cargo in a storm, earning the nickname, the human blender. For the people of the Karnali region, this isn't a choice. It's a lifeline. The highway connects isolated communities to hospitals, food, and the outside world. But when monsoon rains wash the road away or landslides bury the path, progress halts and travelers are left stranded for hours, sometimes days, under the weight of helplessness. Skipper's Canyon Road. What kind of road is so perilous that rental companies forbid you from driving it? Skipper's Canyon Road, New Zealand's infamous cliffside route, an unnerving, razor-thin path carved into Queenstown's wild backcountry that demands every ounce of focus, and then some. This treacherous trail was blasted into the mountains during the gold rush of the late 1800s, and little has changed since. The road winds for 16.5 miles through rock and ravine, offering barely enough room for a single vehicle. On one side, a sheer rock face. On the other, a vertical drop into oblivion. Even seasoned drivers hesitate. One misjudged corner, and you're either scraping steel against stone or plummeting into the canyon below. The weather only deepens the danger. Rain triggers landslides. Snow turns corners into ice-laced traps. And if something goes wrong, don't expect a rescue. Insurance companies won't cover this route. You're completely on your own. Even though its terrifying reputation, Skipper's Canyon still lures thrill seekers with panoramic views of the Shotover River and towering rock spires. Guided tours inch cautiously along its edge, offering a glimpse of both breathtaking beauty and cold-blooded danger. Patopo Pertiki Road. Is this truly a road or a dare carved into the mountainside? Deep in the rugged highlands of Greece lies the Patopo-Pertiki Road, a perilous 14.6-mile stretch that threads through the Epirus region like a cracked spine. To some, it's a vital route connecting two remote villages. To others, it's a death trap masquerading as a road. This winding path is composed of little more than loose gravel and fading courage. It clings to steep cliffs without guardrails, without lighting, and with barely enough width for one vehicle. Encounter another car? You're reversing blindly, or gambling with the edge. And in this place, hesitation can be fatal. High in the mountains, the weather turns with cruel speed. Thick fog rolls in unannounced, thunderstorms strike without mercy, and the road transforms into a maze of potholes and blind turns. To make matters worse, it's shared by pedestrians, livestock, and vehicles alike, a chaotic dance on crumbling earth. Though locals have traveled it for generations, they do so with respect and fear. The road has claimed lives, buses have toppled, cars have vanished into the depths. It's a stretch where serenity and violence exist side by side, and one misstep decides which you'll meet. Guolang Road Pass. Carved into the remote Scottish Highlands, this ancient mountain route, known as the Pass of the Cattle, is less a road and more a relentless trial of nerve, precision, and sheer resolve. Ascending nearly 2,000 feet, the pass twists through hairpin bends so tight they feel like a trap. Originally built to guide livestock across the mountains, it was never meant for modern vehicles, and it shows in every sharp incline, narrow corner, and sudden descent. Meeting oncoming traffic is a moment of reckoning. Reversing along a blind curve, with mist thick as smoke and rain slashing sideways, becomes an unavoidable risk. The highlands do not offer leniency. Weather shifts without warning, reducing visibility to nothing and traction to hope. This isn't a detour for thrill seekers. It's a necessary, dangerous artery for those trying to reach the secluded village of Applecross. In winter, the road closes entirely. Snow and ice transform it into a white-knuckled gauntlet of silence and slick stone. And yet, for those who dare, the reward is staggering. Panoramic views of rugged cliffs, sweeping lochs, and skies that seem impossibly wide. But you must earn that view. Karnali Highway. Now this one carries a name that cuts deep. The Road of Bones. Officially called the Karnali Highway in Russia, it's infamous not just for its brutal terrain, but for the chilling legacy buried beneath it. Extending over 1,240 miles through Siberia's unforgiving wilderness, this road was made under Stalin's regime by forced labor from Soviet gulags. Thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands, perished during construction, their remains entombed beneath the frozen path. And it's not just the past that haunts this place. The Karnali Highway runs through some of the coldest inhabited regions on Earth. We're talking temperatures plunging below minus 76 degrees Fahrenheit. Engines seize. Fuel lines shatter. If your vehicle fails and help doesn't arrive fast, you're not making it out. It's not survival. It's endurance against nature's harshest wrath. The road is mostly gravel and ice, stretching endlessly through isolation with little to no signal. To make matters worse, predators like wolves and bears roam freely across the terrain. This is a place where every mile is a risk. Even locals approach it with caution. Drivers pack survival gear like their lives depend on it, because they do. And those who venture onto the old abandoned section through Tomtor face an even darker trial. Collapsed bridges, black ice, and a silence that suffocates.
Let's dive in. It's finally time for the open discussion.
Seeing this massive red truck barely clinging to the side of a muddy cliff road, it's clear why this road is so terrifying. Even locals avoid them. How does this narrow, crumbling path stay open at all? And who would risk a journey here? With jagged rocks underfoot and a sheer drop that's bone-chilling, what would you do if you were behind that wheel? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to mention hashtag #OpenDiscussion. Fairy Meadows Road. No one forgets their first encounter with Fairy Meadows Road, a path so deceptively named it feels like a cruel joke. Tucked into the towering wilderness of Gilgit-Baltistan, this route leads to the base of Nanga Parbat, the 9th highest mountain on Earth. But the road, it's no gateway to wonder. It's a corridor of pure, unfiltered fear. What begins as a narrow dirt track quickly becomes a cliffside torment. With sheer drops plunging thousands of feet below, the road offers no pavement, no barriers, and no forgiveness. Built by hand decades ago without modern tools, it remains raw, crumbling, and treacherously unchanged. Landslides, falling rocks, and blinding mountain fog make each mile more perilous than the last. In foul weather, the path seems to vanish, sometimes literally. Sections have been known to erode mid-journey, leaving nothing between you and oblivion. Tourists arrive for the breathtaking views and the famed fairy meadows, but many exit their vehicles in silence, pale, shaken, unsure how they made it. Even locals, hardened by the mountains, often choose to walk rather than risk the wheel. And when the road ends, you're not done. The rest must be conquered on foot. Stelvio Pass. Towering over the Italian Alps at more than 9,000 feet, this legendary mountain road lures drivers in with postcard beauty, then tightens its grip with every brutal turn. It's not just a drive, it's a challenge etched into stone, ice, and air. With 48 hairpin bends twisting like a serpent down the mountainside, Stelvio offers no mercy. Most corners are blind. Made in the 1820s to connect Austria with Lombardy, it was never meant for the speed and weight of modern machines. At present, it demands absolute control and unwavering attention. Lanes are narrow, guardrails are minimal, and yet traffic is anything but quiet. Cyclists grinding uphill, buses inching forward, and thrill-seekers in sports cars, all weaving through a gauntlet that grows more unforgiving with every curve. Then comes the weather. Fog descends without warning. Rain slicks the path to glass. Even a light dusting of snow can spell catastrophe. It's no wonder the pass is shut down in winter. This road doesn't offer second chances. Even locals tread with caution, knowing too well that beauty here comes with a cost. Stelvio Pass is not just one of Europe's most scenic routes. It's one of its most dangerous. Karakorum Highway. Although it begins like any mountain drive, the Karakorum Highway quickly reveals itself as something far more formidable, a high-altitude titan etched into the spine of the earth. Crowned as the highest paved international road in the world, the Karakorum Highway climbs to a staggering 15,400 feet, where the air thins, engines strain, and human limits are laid bare. This is no scenic escape. It is a road forged through avalanches, carved above gorges, and bordered by glacial giants that loom with silent menace. Constructed over 2 decades by the combined effort of Pakistan and China, it's often hailed as the 8th wonder of the world. And while the views are breathtaking, literally, they come at a steep price. Landslides thunder down with no warning. Rockfalls strike like ambushes. Flash floods can erase entire segments in hours, and altitude sickness stalks every newcomer, striking with dizzying force. The road narrows in treacherous stretches, where a single mistake can send vehicles plummeting into the abyss. Guardrails are a luxury. Stability is a myth. This is a path that demands respect, or punishes the lack of it. Vital as it is, connecting distant villages, powering trade, it remains a gauntlet few take lightly. Zoji La Pass. What kind of road dares you to test your limits before you've even turned the key? In the frozen heart of northern India, the infamous Zoji La Pass towers at nearly 11,600 feet, slicing through the brutal Himalayan frontier like a scar carved into the earth. It connects Srinagar to Leh, but make no mistake, this is not a road. It is a gauntlet. Landslides, black ice, and sudden avalanches are not risks. They are certainties. And when the snow comes, it swallows the road whole, severing entire communities from the outside world for months. Yet this route remains vital. It serves as a military artery and the only link for remote villages clinging to survival. But to those who know it, Zoji La is not conquered. It is endured. A breakdown here is not an inconvenience. It's a crisis. Visibility fades in seconds, the ground shifts beneath your wheels, and death hides behind every turn. Still, convoys crawl forward, engines roar, tires claw at crumbling gravel. Because on this pass, turning back isn't always an option. Norway's Atlantic Road. Every mile of Norway's Atlantic Road is a masterpiece carved by both human ambition and nature's wrath. It may shimmer like a dream under clear skies, but don't be fooled. This coastal highway is a tightrope walk across the edge of chaos. Stretching a little over 5 miles, the road links Kristiansund and Molde with a series of sweeping bridges that leap from island to island. The crown jewel, Storseisundet Bridge, bends so sharply it seems to vanish midair. a breathtaking illusion that turns menacing the moment a storm arrives. When the Atlantic awakens, this elegant stretch becomes a crucible. Waves crash over the road with merciless force, drenching vehicles and rattling steel frames. Gale-force winds slam against the side of every car, and icy patches lurk in shadowed turns, waiting to steal traction and control. Engineers call it brilliance, locals call it dangerous. And when the sky darkens, even seasoned drivers weigh their odds before crossing. There are no safety guarantees here, only instinct, courage, and the hope that the sea allows passage. Yes, the Atlantic Road offers one of the most scenic drives in the world, but beauty here comes with teeth. Lanying Cliff Road. Now envision a road so perilous, so defiant, it seems to hang on the edge of existence itself, suspended between sky and stone by sheer determination. This is Lanying Cliff Road, a scar etched into the towering walls of China's Taihang Mountains. It doesn't wind around the mountain. It pierces straight through it, a raw, narrow artery hewn from the rock not by engineered precision, but by the relentless hands of villagers driven by survival. Every inch of its path was fought for, chiseled, blasted, and shaped with nothing but crude tools, unshakable resolve, and the will to conquer the impossible. The result? A narrow, winding cliff road, barely wide enough for one vehicle, with open drops that plummet into the abyss. Inside the mountain, damp, dimly lit tunnels stretches echo with the sound of tires scraping close walls. Outside, sharp turns and shifting weather add layers of danger. To drive Lanying Cliff Road is to face a creation born from necessity and etched in courage. It is awe-inspiring. It is unforgiving. N25 Killer Highway. Far from the snow-choked cliffs and dizzying passes of northern Pakistan lies a road more lethal than them all. This is N25, the infamous Killer Highway, stretching over 500 miles from Karachi to Chaman, cutting through the scorched, rugged terrain of Balochistan. It should serve as a critical trade artery, but instead it has become a relentless corridor of catastrophe. This road is battered, fractured, and overwhelmed. Cracked pavement, sharp bends, faded markings, and crumbling shoulders set the stage for overloaded trucks, packed buses, and reckless speeders. Originally built for modest traffic, it now bears the crushing weight of commerce and chaos. The threat is immediate and unforgiving. Fiery crashes, violent rollovers, and head-on collisions unfold with grim regularity. Drivers push through exhaustion and endless hours behind the wheel. At night, the highway becomes a void, absent of lighting or guidance, where every turn is blind and every second counts. Locals speak of N25 with a solemn respect. It doesn't just claim lives, it erases them. Promises of repairs echo through the years, but the road remains scarred and savage, a symbol of neglect rolling on steel wheels. China's road of 99 turns. You may think you faced winding roads and dizzying climbs, but nothing prepares you for the relentless ascent of Tianmen Mountain's 99 bending road. This is not a scenic drive. It is a test of nerve, precision, and sheer mental steel. Carved into the cliffs of Zhangjiajie, this serpent of stone coils skyward like a dragon, refusing to let go of the mountain it wraps around. Known as the Heaven-Linking Avenue, the name evokes serenity, but what awaits is anything but peaceful. With exactly 99 razor-sharp bends, this 7-mile marvel spirals over 3,300 feet in elevation, offering drivers no pity. The road narrows at times to the width of a single bus, with only the thinnest barrier separating vehicles from a vertical drop into the abyss. The towering Tianmen Cave, a natural gateway in the clouds. But reaching it demands everything: courage, focus, and control. Russia's Barebones Bridge. Now, if you thought sketchy mountain roads were bad, wait until you see this beast. The Kwandinsky Bridge in Siberia, Russia, often called one of the scariest road bridges on Earth. And honestly, that title barely does it justice. This rusty rail bridge was never meant for cars, but that didn't stop brave or desperate drivers from using it anyway. Originally built for trains back in the Soviet era, the railway project was scrapped, but the bridge remained. Locals with few alternatives began using it, and when we say driving, we mean slowly crawling, praying each plank holds. If your tires slip just a few inches, it's game over. Just one narrow path in and the same path out. If two vehicles meet in the middle, one has to reverse the entire length, blind, tense, and holding their breath. Even hardened Siberian locals admit they avoid it unless they absolutely must. Some call it the Bridge of Death. Others, they don't go near it at all. Tiguan Tunnel Road. Carved by hand into the bones of a mountain, the old Tiguan Tunnel Road in China's Shaanxi province is less a highway and more a relic of human defiance. This is no ordinary route. It is a crumbling artery of stone and silence, built decades ago with primitive tools, brute force, and sheer will. And for those who dare to enter, it feels like the mountain is holding its breath. The tunnel snakes through steep cliffs, its walls scarred with cracks, its path barely wide enough for a single vehicle. Dim and narrow, it demands complete focus. Debris from loose rock litters the floor. The sound of tires echoing off stone is your only companion in the dark. This tunnel is no sanctuary. In places, it opens to the abyss, half-enclosed windows into the void, offering hauntingly beautiful views and heart-stopping drops. A single miscalculation could send a vehicle tumbling into oblivion. When the rain comes, the danger multiplies. The surface turns slick, and the cliffs above become unstable. Most drivers now choose safer, newer roads. But for a few remote villages, this decaying tunnel is still the only lifeline. These roads test more than skill. They test survival. If you'd brave even one, hit like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which road haunts you most.